Fashion Watch, and this week very excited about what we'll be looking into, because that's really what has dominated social media this week, and that is Masako Sevens. Let's start with our panel. Let me introduce them to you. Ian Mbogwa, very glad to have him with us here tonight. He's one of the fashion panelists on Citizen Weekend. Of course, Robert Burale also here with us this evening. He says he's got a flu. I have two. I have one too. Don't worry, we'll be fine. And Carol Odero. Carol, we missed you last week. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, looking lovely in red. So let's begin with what's been happening, and let's go back to last weekend. And there's been an outcry over the decadence at Masako Sevens, and you know, it's often been said that there's a thin line between sexy and trashy, but where does one draw the line? But before we talk about that, let's take a look at some of the images we could show you, because most of what happened at Masako Sevens is unbelievably too harsh for TV. So there you have it, and those are, you know, a bunch of young people, fans watching rugby. And as you can see there, a lot of the ladies, most of the ladies, all the ladies there in hot pants. Let me start with you, Robert. Somebody was actually asking Ian about event weekend wear. So look at that, and just let's have your views on exactly what those young ladies have on. Do you see anything wrong with it?
Totally, because you went for an event and you know very well it's going to go up to the evening. Then you dress like you missed out on part of your clothing, and I hope they are pointing at where is the rest of our clothing, because it's totally wrong. There is a difference between trying to look sexy and also obeying the weather. There's no point of leaving Machakos, going straight to a hospital because you have pneumonia. And
precisely my point, and you know, somebody mentioned this earlier this week, it's July, so it's very, very cold. Carol, do you see anything wrong with that? I mean, if I was with my girls, and you know, we're having a good time and we decide, what are we wearing? Probably you don't want to be the odd one out. So what do you think about that look?
I actually don't agree with Robert. From what I'm seeing about this look, these women are lean. You know, usually if you wear hot pants, it's good if you're lean, because if you're bigger, then it tends to look a bit less flattering on your body shape. And also it looks like they coordinated it, you know, the whites and the reds, and they came as a group. So, you know, when you come as a group, it makes it easier for you to wear something that you would not wear by yourself. Yeah. So you go with the group momentum, and that is what takes you to, you know, places like this, where you end up dressed like this. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You don't know what the rest of what they're wearing looks like. Yeah. I would probably presume that they were layering and they have something else they would put on top of it, or it was just not a really cold day at this particular point in time when the picture was taken. Yeah. But for that event, I think they're dressed fine as a group. Yes. Okay. So my director is calling it freezing and shining, but then it looks a bit sunny. So let's move on to what else was happening at the Masako Sevens. And again, you know, this. So this is them getting down at the after party, and I like I said earlier, this is some of the images that we could actually show you, because a lot of what people were wearing there is actually plain straight up nudity. So let me talk to you, Ian, about this. Some say sexy is about demanding attention with what you wear, while at the same time demonstrating that you respect yourself. When you look at that picture right there, I mean, these guys are just having a good time. But then again, let's go back to what we've seen on social media this week regarding the Masako Sevens and what these young guys were wearing. For you, event weekend wear, how would you have people step out dressed? Nudity, thin line between nudity and, you know, just...
If you cannot wear something in front of your parents, your mother, your father, you should not be wearing it out there. Yeah. Yes.
Which is why we were asking if these kids actually leave home.
They do not leave home dressed like that. Absolutely not. They leave home dressed decently, because they know if they step out of the house wearing something like that, they'll be told no. Yeah. Yes.
And, you know, Carol, let me talk to you about, you know, the trick about accentuating one body part. For instance, the young ladies in the hot pants. If you've got hot pants on, because a lot of guys will do cleavage, thighs, and what have you. What's the trick in terms of just how much you can show if you want to, for instance, you said that look is not too bad because those are just shorts, so that's fine. But just talk to us about how to go about showing what body part, showing too much of what, and actually not showing what other body part at the same time.
Well, the general rule is that if you're exposing the top part of your body, which means you're showing your cleavage, cover your legs. If you're showing off your legs, cover the top part. But don't do both at the same time, because both at the same time actually looks trashy.
Yeah.
So you have to pick one.
Okay.
Yes.
Robert, is sexy entirely about clothing, would you say? Because I think a lot of these young guys go for the sexy look. And because of that, they tend to wear things that are short, tight, revealing. Is sexy all about clothing?
Not at all, not at all. Sexy is also about what you feel about yourself inside, being comfortable in your skin. There are people who look sexy in an overall because of what they exude from the inside. And there's a very thin line between looking sexy and thrashy.
Yeah.
What we saw, I mean, some of the things that we couldn't put on TV, of course, were people trying to be sexy, but it backfired hands down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's sum up. Let's sum up this Masaku Sevens. Ian, you're a parent, so talk to Twitter, talk to social media. I mean, what we saw out there for people like, for instance, for you, for me, I suppose. If I showed up there dressed in my jeans and my tee, I would be completely out of place,
Yes.
which makes a lot of other people uncomfortable. And yet these are supposed to be family affairs. They're supposed to be fun, clean fun affairs.
It really is. And it's the same thing. If you cannot dress, if you cannot put on what you're wearing in front of your parents, then no.
Yeah.
And don't go with the crowd. Don't think everybody else will be wearing hot pants and tank tops, so I need to do the same. Think about yourself. Think about yourself.
Yeah.
Value yourself as a human being. Decency. It's very important.
That's right. And you had that from Ian. And let's move on and take a look at what else was happening. And this was happening at the Arboretum street fashion event. Three ladies there. let's hear from Carol about the bag. I want to talk about this. Although, okay, we're on Ian, so let's
go back.
So let's talk about that look for you. Again, this is a weekend affair.
The bags are too formal. In fact, the first thing I noticed about the picture was the bags, because I felt that if it was an event like this, they should carry something that's more playful, more outdoorsy. These bags are too office-like. You know, if you want to coordinate, and it's called street fashion.
Yeah.
So if you want to go for an event that's fashion forward, and you want to look fashion forward, because you can see like the one on the extreme,
The yellow bag.
Yeah. She's actually dressed in a very youthful way, but then the bag looks a bit like, you know, a 40-something-year-old bag. So
What would you rather they carried?
a beach bag, a kiondo, the body
Sling
bag,
bag,
the sling
yes.
bag, yeah, anything that is not something that you would use to carry your stuff to the office, just something playful.
Okay.
Yes.
So those bags are a bit official, ladies. They've got to go.
What do you carry in those bags? I'm just curious.
Yeah, you don't
what
want to
do
know.
we
You don't want
carry
to
in
know.
those
Seriously.
Please
A
don't
lot
ask.
of stuff.
What do you think?
I don't even want to
The
know what you
change
carry.
of clothes. When you go to Masaku Sevens, the change of clothes.
Yes. Ladies' bags carry a lot. Ladies' bags can carry clothes for up to a week.
Not Ian. You can even put a Vitz in a lady's handbag.
Yeah.
Moving swiftly
Okay,
on.
yeah, let's move on and see what else was happening there. Again, street fashion at the street fashion event at the Arboretum. Carol, I want to talk about the skirt. This skirt seems to be, everybody's doing this skirt right now. I'm talking about the lady in the purple and the lady in the striped blue and white. So I want to talk about the lady in the purple skirt and how she's worn hers with the top, as opposed to the other one with the striped blue and white, and how she's paired that with her top. Which look for you works better?
Well, I think I'm not really sure which one works better because it's about the fit.
Yeah.
The one on the one with the purple skirt, the top fit seems a bit tighter, and the one with the horizontal, the
Yeah.
blue stripes, it's too wide. So she's actually paid the myth that no, actually she's enhancing the myth that if you wear those stripes, it makes you look bigger. It's just the fit of the skirt that is making her look bigger, as opposed to the design of the stripes.
Yeah.
Because you can actually wear that if you're bigger, but you have to find the right fit. And for her, it doesn't seem to work. And also the top and the bottom are too bulky. So if you want proportion, one needs to be smaller than the other.
Okay.
And even for her, one needs to be bigger than the other because they're both small, then these ones are both large. So they need to swap one or the other of the outfits, yes.
And Robert, looking at this, I mean, these are young guys, pretty much the same age as those that were at the Masako Sevens. But when you look at what these guys are wearing, I mean, this is totally different. And yet this is still a weekend out. And so, you know, which begs the question, why the difference in the dressing? Are these sports events are totally different?
It's because we are raising a generation that goes, as Ian said, it's very risky to go with the crowd. Masako Sevens, we saw a lot of skin. And some of those people are not comfortable with the skin, but because the majority are going to wear like that, so everybody takes it like that.
And they were not going for rugby.
In fact, half of them have no clue what rugby is about.
Yes.
Also, we have to be very careful. Yes, we want to be decent, but also, okay, like the lady in the purple is, I think she's done very well. Now, the lady in the blue and white could have done better. And I'll tell you a secret. Football is very popular in this country. You want to avoid anything that will look like a football T-shirt. Because the blue and white, many would think is an FC Leopards fan club.
Wow.
Yeah. So you want to avoid that because it's a very good outfit. But people will think you're going to the near stadium.
Yeah, but we've missed out on the white dress, the little white dress, Carol, with the lace at the bottom, and then on the inside is a mini.
It's the fit. It's the fit, and for some reason, ideally the concept would look great. You know, it's a lace dress which is very fashionable, and there's a tunic inside that's shorter than the actual lace, which should also be fashion forward. But for some reason, it doesn't work. She's wearing the wrong shoes, and the dress is not fitting properly. So the little white dress concept is lost, and it doesn't look as pretty as it could because of the fit. Again, fit is so important.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And I just want to get your final words on just because we're talking about the thin line between sexy and trashy as we close before we go to social media, because like we said, we would have loved to go through all the photos of the Masako Sevens. It's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to see a lot of fashion trends going on there, but what we saw was nudity. So just your final thoughts on this topic, Ian, thin line between sexy and trashy as we close.
Think about what you're wearing, and think about if in 10 years' time you looked at these photos, whether you'd be proud of them, whether you'd be proud of what you wore.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Robert?
I'll talk to the ladies. Men will enjoy your company when you look trashy, but when they want to get serious, they will avoid you. Yes.
That is true.
Yes.
Hush, but true. And I bet somebody there is saying, yeah, whatever, Robert.
But it's a fact.
But it is true.
You go looking almost half naked, the men will enjoy your time. They'll buy you alcohol. You'll have a great time.
But they will not
never
take you
to their mother.
to meet their mother. Never,
well,
ever.
aside from taking you to meet your mother, you know, because that's not even the most important thing a woman should consider. You need to, first of all, love yourself. Because if you love and you respect yourself, you will understand. See, the whole concept of having personal style is an authentic sense of self-expression. So if you walk into Masako Sevens dressed like everybody else, then you're telling people that I don't know who I am. So first you need to understand that, because true sex appeal is knowing exactly who you are and wearing it comfortably.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I suppose it takes so much attention out of your beautiful
Yeah.
face when everybody is focusing on this and that.
And they're critiquing it as
Yeah.
you go by. Yes.
Caressa and Fondue.
And I think most of these girls are quite stunning. Robert, I heard that. So let's take a look at what's on social media. Twitter. Let's agree that the ladies at Masako Sevens had put all their morals in the pocket. It was sad to see what the society is coming to. At Abraham Masika, I like how the panel has evaluated the Masako Sevens dress code. Thank you. A lady should be two things, classy and fabulous. What I saw in Masako Sevens was ignorance. And OJ, you're saying I am Ian, sorry. You really don't want to know what ladies carry in their bags.
Is OJ a guy? Yes, Julia.
He is.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, as we close, guys, as Robert earlier said, sex is not entirely about clothing, and you know, the panel agrees on this one, that it's more to do with attitude and confidence. So that's a wrap. That's all we had time for today. We'll do this again next week. Good night.